All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the incredible technology that's basically the digital brain for the biggest ships on the planet. This is the system that keeps them safe out there in the vast open ocean. I mean, really think about that for a second. You've got this colossal container ship weighing 200,000 tons, miles from any shore, maybe in the dead of night. How on earth does it know exactly where it is, and way more importantly, where all the hidden dangers are lurking beneath the waves? Well, the answer is a system that literally acts as the ship's digital brain. It's called ECDIS. That's ECDIS, the Electronic Chart Display and Information System. And trust me, this is so much more than just a giant GPS on a big screen. It's the vessel's complete navigational command center. And that is not an exaggeration. As our source material from an expert mariner, Captain Cruvin, puts it, this system is the actual soul of the ship's navigation. Understanding how this works is what separates a safe voyage from a potential disaster. It is absolutely the core of everything. Okay, so if we're going to understand this digital brain, we first have to get what it's thinking with. Because, you see, not all digital charts are created equal. There's a huge difference between just a digital picture and a truly intelligent map. So here's the deal. On the one hand, you have the modern standard, the ENC, or Electronic Navigational Chart. Now, the key thing to get here is that an ENC isn't an image, it's an intelligent database. Every single buoy, every coastline, every depth number is a piece of data the computer can click on and interact with. Then you have the older RNC, or raster chart. That's really just a high-quality scan of an old paper map. It's a picture. It's a fine backup, but it has zero built-in intelligence. And just a quick technical point here, because you might hear this term. The ECDS system takes all that smart ENC data, and then it merges it with all the latest updates, things like new shipwrecks or buoys that have been moved. The result is called the SENC, and that's simply the live, up-to-the-minute chart that the crew is actually looking at on their screen. Now, having a map with literally millions of data points is amazing, right? But it can also be incredibly overwhelming. Just imagine trying to navigate through a nasty storm with a screen that is just cluttered with distracting, totally irrelevant information. It'd be a nightmare. And that's why a huge feature of ECDIS is controlling that flow of information. So the system gives the crew three main layers of detail to choose from. First up is display base. Think of this as the absolute, non-negotiable safety minimum. You can't remove anything from it. Then there's standard. This is the default setting for sailing, and it adds the essentials like buoys and lights. And finally, you have all, which, shows every single piece of data on the chart. It's perfect for detailed planning back in port, but dangerously distracting when you're out at sea. The whole point is to show only the right info at exactly the right time. Okay, this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most powerful feature of ECDIS. This is where the system goes from being just a passive map to an active guardian for the ship. This is where the crew has to tell the computer exactly what dangerous means for their specific ship on this specific voyage. See, this isn't about just looking at a map anymore. This is about literally drawing customized safety zones right onto it. The system then keeps an eye on the ship's position 24/7, and it will scream an alarm if you're even about to cross one of these lines you've defined. All right, let's make this real. Imagine you're the captain. You've done all your complex calculations, and you figure out that your ship needs at least 12 meters of water under its keel to be safe. That's your magic number. You have to tell the computer. So you go to the chart data, and there's a little problem. The official map doesn't have a pre-drawn line for exactly 12 meters. It only has lines for 10 meters and 15 meters. So the computer has to make a choice. So what's it going to do? Is it going to pick the closest one? Does it try to guess and draw a line somewhere in between? Which one of those lines will it use to draw your danger zone, your digital guardrail? And the answer is just brilliant because it shows you the core safety logic of the whole system. The ECDIS will always round up to the next deeper, safer line. You told it you needed 12 meters, it's going to use the 15-meter line as your safety contour. It automatically builds in a safety buffer for you, which is exactly what you want when you're sailing a multi-million-dollar vessel. So that safety contour is the big one. It's the main line in the sand between safe and unsafe water. But there are other settings that work with it to paint a really clear picture.
Safety depth will make any specific depth numbers that are too shallow for you jump out in bold text. And then the shallow and deep contours use different shades of blue to visually separate the really shallow coastal bits from the generally safe areas and from the truly deep ocean.
So what we have here is this incredibly powerful tool, right? It's smart, it's designed to be conservative, and it's watching out for the ship around the clock. But, and this is a huge but, this brings us to the most important point of all, the human element. A computer, at the end of the day, is only as smart as the information you feed it. As Captain Kruvvin makes crystal clear in this quote, these numbers, like that 12 meters from our example, they are not just picked out of thin air. They're the result of meticulous, professional calculations that factor in the ship's size, the tide, the way the ship squats in the water as it moves, absolutely everything. So, what have we learned here? Well, first, modern ships navigate with intelligent maps, not just digital pictures. Second, we've seen how crucial it is for captains to filter all that information to avoid getting overwhelmed. And third, we've understood how they create this amazing custom digital guardrail to keep their vessels safe. But the biggest takeaway of all is this: the technology is an absolutely incredible tool, but it's the mariner's expertise that truly brings the ship home safe and sound. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The computer is a brilliant partner. It's constantly checking, warning, and showing where the danger is. It draws the lines on the map. But it is always the captain and the crew, with their knowledge, their experience, and their judgment, who are and who must always be truly in command.